Hi guys, so we're going to start with number 35 in the Mystical Shaman Oracle, which is the Medicine Wheel. The Medicine Wheel is a sacred hoop with 4 cardinal directions well marked. It represents the cycle of life, the cycles of nature, and the circular patterns of our cosmos. It has been used for millennia in indigenous cultures to bring harmony and well-being to the village. Its directions symbolize the 4 steps a shaman takes to become a person of power and wisdom. To manifest the clear blue skies in your life, it is important that you take a look at certain aspects of your being. Enter the medicine wheel from the south. And I get chills every time I say that. Anyway, and reflect on how you are still clinging to events from the past. Continue to the west and notice which relationships are toxic and drain your energy. Step into the north and ask yourself, do I know my passion, and show it. End at the east direction, visualizing how you want to live the next chapter of your life. It is up to you how much time you spend in each direction, minutes, days, or months. But when you are done, make sure you step outside the wheel and contemplate your journey. And the animals represented here, we have the hummingbird, the eagle, the snake, and I can't tell if that is a cheetah or a leopard, but and a bunch of different aspects. There's not like a certain animal for each one, but if you have a certain animal that you feel connected to, then, pay attention to that and look it up, because there's always something in there that can kind of give you a guide to, where you're at, whether it be in shamanism or any other thing. The aspect of the animal gives you that power. That's why when you go to find your power animal in your first journey, that's the most important thing, because that emphasizes the energy and the aspect that is guiding you at this time. And I decided to put my Herbal Astrology oracles underneath the 2 larger oracles in this reading. So we'll just start with that. And then we have go to Collette. Okay, number 17, higher consciousness. Okay, so upright is hermit, solitude, soul searching, realization, greater knowing, and enlightenment. Oh, sorry. And then it's Mercury and the moon. And, this one is like, having like a, this is how I see it in my own words. We have Mercury and then you have the moon. So this is a lot about having that understanding of your emotions and how to intertwine them, right? And I'm always saying that, but that's just whatever. Do you know what I mean? Because Mercury is about how you're communicating, how you're learning, those type of things of the mind. And then the moon is all about our emotions and our spiritual depth, not death. So, this is higher consciousness is communicating, with that higher spiritual, deeper self of our part of ourself. And, maybe somebody is being I just got chills again. Sorry. Every time I do that, I'm going to mention that, because lately when I've been doing that, I don't know, I'm kind of new to like that aspect of things. So, especially when I'm talking about things to other people. So lately I'm using that as a hit. So whatever. So I feel like that's what this is. This is that higher consciousness is, you are being either tapping into something, whether that be something that you resonate as a guide, or whether this is your inner self or whatever. You are definitely having a better and clearer understanding of what that is. And you might just be now noticing it. So in the first column, we have the moon and we have death. And in this deck, it's Kali Ma, which I think is awesome. She came out again to say hello. So this is kind of like my column of, the energy of the situation. So being that we have the moon here, and I feel like the moon is being represented as that deeper and spiritual aspect of ourselves. And then we have death. And again, it's Kali Ma, which I think is awesome that she came up again today. So, it's getting rid of those things from the past, right? Those things that don't serve us anymore. Coming into our true selves, our true nature. And we're doing that in a deeply spiritual and intuitive and emotional way. I just think this is beautiful. So whoever this is for, whether this is for somebody or this is a collective, this is beautiful. This is understanding that, there are parts of you that are, so great and they feel deep, right? But it's something that needs to be expressed. And for that, I go to the next row or column, I should say, is the Queen of Wands. And we have the 5 of Cups. So the Queen of Wands and the 5 of Cups, to me, this is my column of what we need to focus on or work on. So say that you've been through something before. We all know the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is, he's had five cups, and he's also standing to a huge body of water. Do you know what I mean? And so he's looking at all these cups that are spilled, but he's not realizing the gift and the cups that he still has left, and the fact that all he has to do is walk over to that body of water and fill them back up, right? It's kind of like, in a negative aspect, it's not understanding the depth and the good things in those emotional and spiritual aspects that you are, or creative. These are the things that, make us feel. It's not understanding the power that we have to, get through that and make the most of what we have. And I feel like with the Queen of Wands here, this is saying that you have that ability. You are somebody who is confident in yourself, and go ahead and, be creative, be magical, have all those things, because you have that ability to just, walk right over there and fill them cups back up, right? It's inside you. It's not necessarily in the cups, right? It's in this flow. This flow is in everything. So it's not something that you lost, because it's always going to be there. And then we have my third column, which we have the Three of Swords, which, everybody always freaks out when they see that. I used to be that way. I used to be all freaked out, but that's because I was in this perpetual, scarcity and everything's going to be horrible mindset for a while. And then we have the Ten of Wands, which the Ten of Wands, a lot of times, yes, that's working hard. But I always think of the Ten of Wands as spiritual, because the wands are spiritual, and I'm an Aries, and that's just what I do. But anyway, so I feel like this is saying that you've been through a lot. A big part of what you're doing, right? This path, this part of the wheel that you're on, and I get chills again, is really, understanding and healing. It's a path of healing, yes, but it's understanding how to balance heart and mind. So that's what I think of when I see the Three of Swords, because it's having that ability to balance your emotions and your knowledge and use that in a positive way. And if you look at the Ten of Wands, he's reaping the harvest. So these are the things that in this row is what we have as our assets, whether that be energy, whether that be people, whether that be skills that we have of ourselves. And I feel like that's what they're saying is, you have been through so much spiritually. You have such an abundance of spiritual knowledge, whether that be something that you can give outward or something that you can use inward, because you have the ability to understand what it means to have a balanced heart and mind, right? Using that in your daily life, and not only for you, but maybe for whatever is on your path. And then my last row, we have the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands with the Ten of Wands, a lot of times, sometimes that can mean something like there's some type of negotiation in housing, real estate, things like that. I read that somewhere. And I don't know if maybe that's for somebody, but so in a positive manner. And so this Nine of Wands, I always like to think of the Nine of Wands just like I think the Seven of Wands. I feel like it's being, protected, but it's also being, especially with the Nine of Wands, it's spiritually determined. You are somebody that at this point, at the Nine of Wands, you're almost at the Ten of Wands, which we already have been, that Nine of Wands, that Ten of Wands, right? But it's having that tenacity in the fact that, you know where you stand. You have that line in the sand, basically, spiritually. It's like you are willing to say, hey, this is what I believe. This is what I'm about, and I'm cool with it. And that with the Ace of Cups, maybe this is an offer, or maybe this is, a creative aspect or something that is being given to you because of your determination. And this is something that you are willing to give to others, perhaps. So then we go to the very end, and we have my Moonology Oracle, which I'm going to read from it again today. I usually don't, but yesterday I did, and I did today. I just feel called to do that. And this one is New Moon in Capricorn. Your hard work is paying off. And it is. I mean, look at it. We got the 10 of Wands in our, what we have to work with. And we have the 9 of Wands. This is somebody who is very adamant that they know who they are, especially with that Queen of Wands in there too. This is somebody who is okay with who they are, and whatever that is, I feel is imperative for your path. This is somebody who is, this part of the wheel, that whatever you're on is really, you have gained that knowledge of who you are, and you're okay with it. You're not somebody who's going to falter because somebody says, well, that's weird, that's stupid, or why are you doing that? You're not doing that good enough, right? And so I'm just going to read like the quick little messages. The Attuned to the Moon says, make a proper plan, execute it well. Well, that must be for me, because I'm always, my husband always teases me, and he always says, because for a long time I always got that card in this deck, and he would say, every time I do something and I talk about being like wild and outlandish, he always says, hey, your dreams need a practical plan. That's so true. But yeah, I think that's all I'm getting from this card. And then we have number 19 with Tulsi, wealth. And I love holy basil, which is Tulsi. And I have so many around my house because I, first year like really gardening, and I like threw seeds everywhere. I don't know what I'm going to do with it because it's starting to get cool. But there's so much good things with that, just so you know. I mean, it's good for, like, all kinds of things. But anyway, the card talks about true wealth, prosperity, charismatic, vivacious, like the Queen of Wands, luxury, beauty, and auspicious. And this is Mercury and Jupiter. So this is like an expansion of, like, that, those feelings, right? Those Mercury-type feelings. And it is, because, like, it's an adaptogen, too. Like, all these herbs and stuff, like, when you take certain herbs, especially, like, the ones that you can make tea out of, things like that, they're adaptogens. They help your body work the way it's supposed to. Because, back when we would do things like that, that's how it worked. We ate from the land, and, we used our medicine from the land, and it works with our body because we didn't like narrow it down to some tiny little chemical in the plant. We used the whole plant, and we used the whole plants with other plants, and we learned these things. And also, we weren't taking other things that counteract with other things. A lot of times people are afraid to take herbal medicines, and you should talk to somebody if you're, because of whatever you're taking, or, even our diets can affect taking something like that, because our body is used to something that's not natural. So if you go to take something natural, sometimes it might interact. So that's a little tip for somebody. I don't know who needed to know that, but there you go. So the guidance of this says, the Tulsi goddess sits proudly facing her beautiful peacock, symbolizing heaven on earth. She raises her arms with grace, aiming them like wands to catalyze magic and wealth. The fountain in the centerpiece between the goddess and the peacock represents the wellspring created between earth, the manifested world, and heaven, the spirit world. And I guess chills again, just so you guys know. Peacock embodies the medicine of auspiciousness, magic, beauty, and reminding us that we are the living gateway to the greatest of mysteries. Tulsi is here today to teach that the key of Jupiter's doorway, abundance and wisdom, is to live, create, and communicate from a place of wonder, innocence, and impeccability. Mercury, rather than doubt and confusion. Don't be fooled by material possessions or the vanity often worshipped in the material world. Tune in to the deeper realities that abound around you. Be spontaneous and celebrate your temple just as you are. This is a beautiful reading. I'm just telling you. So, I don't know who this was for, but I took it too. So, yes, okay? I feel like, pay attention to, like, the little things that you're getting to. I feel like whoever this is, you're getting messages, whether they're like realizations, maybe you're learning things more, if you're not somebody that's into the deeper spiritual parts of things. I mean, to me, science is spirit too. So, because you have like crazy natural things that happen, and it's like, well, how did that happen? If you go by like the way people are like, well, this is science and da-da-da, science is beautiful too. I mean, back in the day, like, not like, my day, but like older than that, back when like all this kind of stuff happened, I mean, that's what they thought of as magic a lot of times, was science, because you're working with nature, you're working the laws of nature. It's just beautiful. And then the thing is I feel like, back then they didn't really understand, or maybe they did, because I feel like a lot of the texts, I say that word wrong all the time, they misinterpret, because we have people who are from other countries that are trying to get the meaning out of something that was translated into different languages, and the meanings of things are kind of different because of the way that they lived and the way that we lived. Also their understanding too, because things change, right? So anyway, that's a long story, but you are beautiful, you are magic, and own it.